As I've studied the topic of stewardship, I have discovered there are lots and lots of definitions of what stewardship is. As a matter of fact, I probably could tell you 5 or so right now. There are so many definitions that I decided to add one. I'm going to make up my own definition. Why do I want to do that? It goes back to the Garden of Eden. When God created Adam and Eve, He said, I want you to take care of this garden. Their responsibility, their job was to manage. Stewardship is management. But then they fell. In other words, they were created as managers. When they fell and the human race took a wrong turn, people were not faithful to God. They were bad managers. But when I accept Christ, He reinstates me as His manager. So here's my definition. Stewardship is the management of tangible and intangible possessions for God's glory. You go to the Old Testament, a steward was a manager of a house. You go to the New Testament, and it expands it to include a lot more. So if I am a manager, what do I manage? We can talk about tangible evidence, tangible possessions. That's like cows and horses and cars and houses, all those things that we see. But what about managing the intangible possessions? What might those be? I want to take you to Ephesians 6, verse 11. You know this text. It says, put on the whole armor of God. These are intangible possessions that are far more important than the tangible possessions. But what we do and how we manage the tangible possessions tells God what we think of His intangible possessions. For example, here's this armor, the helmet of salvation, the shield of faith, the belt is truth, the sword is the Bible, and the breastplate is righteousness. All of those are intangible possessions. God didn't say, you could borrow them for a while. He says, they're yours, and I want you to manage those. All through Scripture, you have this concept of stewardship and a steward. You'll never have good stewardship unless you are a good steward. So as you manage God's possessions, intangible and tangible, I want to invite you to manage them for God's glory.